Today we're going to break down one of the most overlooked but deeply ingrained biases in global politics, the racism of low expectations. Specifically, how the world holds Israel to impossible standards while treating the Palestinians as perpetual victims who are somehow incapable of accountability. The Palestinians have received billions, yes, billions of dollars in international aid over the decades. So why do they still rely on Israel for their basic infrastructure, water, and electricity? And why does the world continue to act as if they're helpless, when in reality their leaders have made very intentional choices? Here's a breaking update that highlights the absurdity of the situation. After 521 days of attempting to get their hostages back, Israel has finally decided to stop providing free electricity to Gaza. Think about that. For nearly a year and a half, Israel has provided free electricity to the territory controlled by the people who kidnapped their own citizens. Yet the world continues to act as if Israel is the aggressor. Since the 1990s, Palestinians have received over $40 billion in international aid. For comparison, that's more per capita than the Marshall Plan. You know, the one that helped rebuild Europe after World War II. So where did all that money go? Well, I'll tell you where it didn't go. It didn't go towards building power plants, hospitals, or modern infrastructure. Instead, Hamas funneled vast amounts of aid into building one of the most sophisticated terror tunnel networks in the world. And these networks aren't just for smuggling weapons. They're reinforced with concrete and iron, they're climate controlled and even have lighting and ventilation. And they stretch to depths of up to 50 meters. The extensive network of terror tunnels beneath Gaza is said to stretch between 350 and 450 miles. This network rivals global subway systems in length. For instance, the New York City subway comprises 248 miles of routes, and the London Underground spans about 249 miles. Think about that. They had the technical expertise to build miles of intricate tunnels underneath the ground, but somehow couldn't figure out how to build a power grid for their people? That's not inability. It's a choice. Now let's talk about the October 7th attack. The world wants to portray Hamas as some ragtag resistance movement, but make no mistake, this was an incredibly sophisticated operation. They jammed Israeli communication before the attack to cut off the military response. They used drones to disable security cameras. Hamas deployed paragliders and motorcycles, executing a coordinated attack across multiple locations. They infiltrated Israel armed with maps provided by Palestinians who had spent years working in Israel and getting to know the Israelis. Building their trust over the years, these maps contained details like the number of people in each household, their names, who had a dog. Not only did they know the names of every person that lived in each house, they also knew their ages. And in the months leading up to the attack, Hamas released videos showcasing their militants preparing for the operations against Israel. A December 22 Hamas video depicted training exercises focused on hostage taking, while another video depicted militants practicing paragliding techniques. And on September 12, 2023, Hamas released a video showcasing fighters training to breach the border. The October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas in Israel was the culmination of more than 2 years of training, meticulous planning and preparation, underscoring the sophistication of the attack. And throughout this whole time, they showcased that they had the best video making and tools available to them. They released edited and polished propaganda videos in Gaza and had videographers available to cover every angle. The bottom line is these aren't poor, oppressed people who don't know any better. These are calculated militants who spent years planning this massacre. And yet, the world acts as if they don't have any agency. And then there's this insane double standard. While Hamas is literally stealing aid to fund its terrorism, Israel is still providing electricity to Gaza for free. Imagine that! Israelis are paying high electricity bills while their tax money is funding free electricity for an enemy who slaughtered more than 1,200 people and is still holding 59 people hostage, including 5 Americans. Make it make sense. Instead of asking, why does Israel have to supply resources to an enemy territory, the world asks, why isn't Israel giving them more? This is the racism of low expectations. The idea that Palestinians aren't responsible for their own governance, well-being, or infrastructure, and so Israel must provide it for them. But here's the truth. Palestinians, particularly Hamas, are not helpless. They are strategic. They are capable. The October 7th attack showed us just how capable they are. But instead of investing in a future, they invest in destruction. And the world keeps giving them a pass. The next time someone tells you Israel should be doing more for the Palestinians, ask them, why isn't Hamas doing it? And if you find yourself outraged that Israel has stopped providing free electricity for the people who want them dead, maybe ask yourself why you aren't just as outraged that they're still holding hostages, torturing them, and starving them. The double standard is even more evident when you consider what's happening in Syria right now. While the world criticizes Israel for its defensive actions, there is an actual genocide unfolding right now in Syria. And this genocide has claimed more than 600 lives in the past 48 hours alone. The violence is primarily at the hands of extremist factions seeking to overthrow the remaining Assad loyalists and take control of the country, leading to brutal crackdowns, revenge killings, and massacres of both civilians and militants. These Islamist extremists are targeting not only Christians, but Muslims, anyone who does not adhere to their radical ideology. This is where Israel's actions become even more significant. In early 2025, as the Assad regime began to crumble, Israel played a crucial role in destroying Syria's remaining chemical weapons stockpile, preventing them from falling into the hands of extremist groups. If these weapons were still available, the massacre happening in Syria right now would be even worse than it already is, with more lives lost and the death toll rising even faster. The fact that Israel helped eliminate those chemical weapons shows that Israel isn't just about defending itself, it's about stopping greater atrocities from happening in the region. Yet the world seems to ignore that contribution while focusing on criticizing Israel's every move. So I want to ask you a question. How much do you pay for electricity? Is that something that you think about in the winter? Do you think about how much you're spending? Would you like to get it for free? And why should terrorists be getting electricity for free? Why should a country of people that attacked Israel be getting this for free when they have the absolute capability of creating it themselves? Hamas has had 20 years to come up with a plan to take care of their own people. And Israel would help anybody who wants to live peacefully with them side by side. But this would mean recognizing the fact that Israel has a right to exist. And that's why this war will not end until Hamas is out of power, and of course, all the hostages are returned home. And anybody who is actually on the side of peace and humanitarianism should be demanding that the hostages be sent home.